Time for some gangster history, man. You know, when you think drug dealing, on a national level, not on a street level, on a national level, you're gonna think of names like Pablo Escobar, Chapo Guzman, Caro Quintero. You see all these narco shows like on Netflix or movies, and that's always what you're gonna see and think that these are the biggest drug dealers in history. Even if you're to Google biggest drug dealing countries in history, you're gonna get brown people. You're gonna get, I think, even India, Laos, Colombia, Mexico, and so on. But the truth of the matter is, my personal opinion, one of the biggest, if not the biggest and most powerful drug dealing syndicate there ever was in history was that of Great Britain. God bless the Queen. They were by far one of the biggest drug dealers in the nation. Could you imagine for 1 second that a country like Mexico with the cartels found out that the U.S. was now completely banning, even though it's banned, but stopping the border, saying you're not going to bring fentanyl in here, you're not going to bring heroin in here, you're not going to bring any narcotics into our country anymore at all. And the United States just closed the border. And then Mexico came over, was a superpower, and pretty much, went to war with us and forced us to take their drugs. It sounds, kind of crazy. It would never happen. But that's exactly what happened with Great Britain and China. It's called the Opium Wars. Just as of recent history, Hong Kong, which was a province of Great Britain, was handed back to China. And I saw that as well, and I wasn't too sure why, so I started digging a little bit deeper. And then I remembered it was the Opium Wars. You see, what happened was in 1839, China's population before that was very, very addicted to opium. Their population was dying. They were not working. All they wanted to do, for the most part, was smoke opium. And the one who was providing the opium to them was Great Britain. So in 1839, in the dynasty of China, the king said, you know what? That's it. No more opium. They told Great Britain, we don't want any of that stuff. It was a so-called, quote unquote, medical. And regardless of what Great Britain said, China saw the effects that it was having on their citizens, and it was destroying and killing them. So they told Great Britain, hey, homie, no more dope. We don't want your dope. So what did Great Britain do, being the just country that they are? Well, they got their navy. They went out and they started banging. And they went to a war from 1839 to 1842 and finally beat China. And there was another war after that from 1856 to 1860. This as well was the Opium War, but number 2. But this time Great Britain had an ally with them, was France. In other words, they could care less what was going on in China. They could care less if their people were being poisoned by them. Because why? Because they wanted to sell their dope. This was a war that helped smugglers, helped drug dealers. And Great Britain at the time was without a doubt the biggest drug dealer on the planet. But you will never see that in any top 10 drug dealers. You're always going to catch somebody of color. I say this not to say that the people of Great Britain today are these horrible people that are poisoning everybody, but I say this so when somebody does look down on people of minorities and say, we're just some drug dealers, we don't know no better. Well, we learned it by watching you, man. We learned it by watching you. The only difference is that in history, they're not going to teach you that. In history, they're always going to, make, the Güeros look out to be the peaceful, great people in the world, but they were by far the biggest drug dealers in America. And I also say this to let people know that it's about leveling up. It's about stepping up your game. They went through that transition, and now, Great Britain is a powerful country. Their function is not selling drugs anymore, but that's just a little history that people can understand and look at and say, hey, man, it's about leveling our game up, and we can do the exact same thing. Slowly but surely, I do see us, starting more businesses, starting to become more legit. And we just got to look at history. And when somebody tries to say something about brown people, hey, brother, you guys are by far the biggest dope dealers in world history, man. I'm sure I got some stuff that was in between the lines. This is not a history lesson at a university. This is a history lesson in American Cholo. So I just want to get your guys' take on it. Let me know if you guys knew about this. Let me know if this is something new to you. But that way I can hopefully spark the mind of somebody to Google it, the Opium Wars, and see what I'm talking about. With that being said, people, make sure to subscribe, like, share the channel, leave a comment below, and let's talk about it. You guys have a good one. Goodbye.